Good afternoon. It is afternoon here in Regina. And welcome to the Get Kinected podcast series. Today I have the privilege of speaking with one of our graduate students, Amir. And Amir is going to introduce himself to you in just a minute. But I'm looking forward to this conversation. And just before we came online, actually, you were clearly talking about Formula One and you're a fan, and so we'll explore that a little bit later.
Sure.
I didn't know that about you. That's pretty cool. So, Amir, to get going, why don't you tell me and other people kind of who you are, where you're from, and something that's interesting about you other than Formula One, okay?
Sure. Thank you for having me, Doctor. My name is Amir Yahya Rajaei. I'm Iranian born.
Where in Iran are you born?
I was born in Tehran, in the capital. I lived there with my family until I was in early teens.
Mm-hmm.
And then, due to some circumstances, we had to move to France. And ever since I was in France until last year, 2023.
So where in France?
In the north of France, a city called Lille.
Okay.
It's like 20 minutes away from the Belgian frontier.
Okay.
Really north. And like until last year, I was there, and I found the graduate program here, the KHS program here, and I applied. I got accepted, and I moved here, and I've been doing my graduate studies here.
Okay, so are you fluent in French too?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay, fantastic. So you speak 3 languages or 4?
I would say 3.5 because Persian or Farsi is my native tongue. And then after that, I learned English. English is actually my second language.
Okay.
Then I had to learn French. And actually this year I started to speak a little bit of Spanish.
Oh, really?
Because we have a lot of students coming from South America or other Hispanicophone countries. Okay. So it kind of gave me the motivation to start actually learning it. And it's similar to French, so it's not a big challenge, but it's another language, so I have to work on it. But so I say 3.5. So.
Okay, nice. Hola.
Oh, no.
How's that?
Yeah, that was great.
All right. So tell me a little bit about your high school and undergraduate degree. Where did you finish that in France? Or?
Yes. I did my high school and my undergrad in France. The high school, it was like a normal high school. You start by choosing which path you want to go. It's either professional. For example, it's for working in, for example, construction, restaurants, more handy jobs, or scientific. And we have literature for law and other related topics as well. I chose science because I love physics, I love biology and chemistry, so I chose that part. And at first I thought I'm going to be a doctor because that's what my parents wanted me to be. But
that sounds like almost every undergraduate.
Yeah, exactly. Every undergrad. I was in high school. I finished the high school. I got my degree. In France, is like that you apply for the medical school, you do the first year, and at the end of the first year, there's a general exam.
Okay.
And it's going to be ranked for all the students that are in the medical school, and the top 15% are allowed to move on to the next part, and the rest are out, or they even have to try again next year, or they have to change their orientation.
Okay.
I tried that for a semester. I didn't even finish the whole year, and I realized that it's not really something that I would like to do. But still the science part. I love the part about anatomy and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay, what is the closest thing to being a doctor that works with science? And I said, okay, it's biology. So I started biology the next semester, and haven't looked back since.
Okay.
My biology degree in France is called cellular biology and physiology.
Okay.
And after that, did all of that in Lille, in north of France.
Okay.
And after that, I did a master's program called Health and Biology with this focus on neuroscience and physiology.
Okay.
And during the first year, I had the opportunity to look for an internship, and I applied for the SFU, Simon Fraser University in Vancouver.
Yep.
And I lived there basically 2 months to do a project regarding aerospace. It was basically regarding the astronauts that go to space and they experience hypergravity and hypogravity, and we were measuring their cardiac rhythm and cardiac function to see what are the changes that might happen and what are the best ways to optimize it and to counter the effects.
Okay.
So basically have a more appealing experience for the astronaut. So I really loved that project. So after that, I said, you know what, that's something that I want to do for a longer time, not just for a 2-month internship.
Yeah.
So after I was done, unfortunately, COVID hit. So I had to wait a little bit. But I have finished my degree in France, took a year to work and, work on myself and spend time with family a little bit. And then started applying, and I found Cameron Mang, was looking for a grad student. We had a talk, we had chats, we talked about what we want, and he basically accepted that I come on board.
Okay.
And 1 year later, here I am.
Wow. Well, a lot of this I didn't know. That's very, very interesting.
Yeah.
So what was the best part about going to university in France?
For me, it was actually meeting my friends, because before that I was shy. I was a little bit on my own. I did not express myself that well. And it's not that it's in high school it was bad or anything, but high school was kind of a really turbulent time, for lack of a better word, because it's towards the end of your basically being a teenager, and everybody's scrambling around to see what they want to do next, what university are they going to do. Some people might wanted to move out of the town. So it's kind of a lot of peer pressure around. So that was not the easiest time mentally for somebody who changed countries a few years back.
Yeah.
But when I got to the university, I saw people I met people that thought like me, had same interests as me, and I started to have more people, discover myself a little bit more, and be like what I am right now.
Oh, okay.
So that was the biggest part in terms of social life. I'm still in contact. They're my best friends in the world right now, the people I met in the undergrad.
Okay.
And in terms of academia, that actually gave me an idea of what I like. I had a lot of courses in genetics, in cellular biology, in physiology, and I got to pick and choose which ones were my favorite and which one were not. Microbiology, I did not like. No offense to anybody, but microbiology was not my thing. But physiology and neuroscience, I absolutely adored it.
Okay.
So that was fun as well, and I get to do a lot of things that I think I'm good at right now, like writing reports, attending conferences, and making posters. That was I started doing those in undergrad, and kind of helped me to see what is the store later on. Do you like this sort of life? Do you like doing these things on a regular basis? And that was eye-opening experience, when you pass that threshold of from being a kid to become a young adult. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the best things.
Nice. So how is the undergrad? Now you've been here for a little over a year, and you've kind of seen what undergrad classes are like here. How is it different here than what your experience would have been as an undergrad in France?
Well, this is gonna sound kind of funny. The first thing is, you don't have to pay anything in France.
Wow, I bet a lot of students would like that.
Yeah,
Skyla particularly.
Exactly. Like that's the biggest difference that I actually noticed here. The second, I feel like the workload is a little bit lighter here compared to there. Like in France, it's like a full-time job. We had like courses from 8 to 6 every day, basically. Although like towards the end, it was more like lab work.
Okay.
Like the third year of undergrad is more lab work, and like in masters is basically all lab work. But in like the first 2 years, it's all courses, all in amphitheater. You go to like a common amphitheater for like 100 students, and then you're divided into different sections, and you have based on what your specialties. For example, like we had people who were interested in more like ecology or like biodiversity or like plant biology. So those people had their own sections, but we had like common courses in the amphitheater. So that was the biggest difference, because like here I've seen so many people like work at the same time, and I could not imagine that being the case when I was in undergrad, because we were basically at class every day, and when we get home, you have a time for like going to do like a hobby, to have a hobby if you're like an artistic person or like a sportive person, and after that you just have to work on your work like read like study what you've learned in class, and like if you have some homework or assignments to submit, you have to do that. So it was really a full-time job in undergrad. Here, like people have time to do jobs on the side or like have like second projects or hustles. Like I feel like here is a little bit more lighter. People have more freedom when they're in undergrad.
Nice. So did you develop any kind of hobbies when you were as an undergrad? Things that you didn't do before that you started?
Yeah, I started going to the gym a lot. That was for sure.
Well, I see Amir almost every day.
Yeah, that's true. We almost
getting ready to go to the
in
gym.
The locker room. Yeah, we run into each other in the locker room often. So yeah, that started when I was in undergrad, because like sometimes you're under pressure. You have an exam coming up. You have something, and like you don't know how to express yourself or how to like calm yourself down. So you just go to the gym, lift heavy things, and
I think Skyla does that too.
Yeah, like I've seen a lot of people doing that here. It's actually pretty nice. So that was one. I've learned a lot about some of the applications that I did not know, like online applications that I didn't know about. Like especially in Europe, every little association has like a website, and you can do stuff on those websites. Yeah. Like you can like build your CV on a website. You can like build like a small movie from scratch on a website, and like although like now it's becoming more prominent, but. Those things I loved a lot. Like especially the first couple of years, I started like making like videos, like for between ourselves in our group when we were going to a vacation, or like we had like a party or something, and like we had pictures, and I put like pictures together, put like some text to it or like some songs to it, and like make like a small clip of it. Like those were like the hobbies. Like I travel a lot too, like with the friends. Like before that, we traveled with families almost exclusively. But like when I got to the university, I started to travel with friends a little bit more. Like do more solo adventures a little bit. Like take on the bus and just hop around from because like the distances are really shorter over there. Yeah. Like 5 hours on a bus, you pass like 3 countries, so you can go wherever.
So I've been to France a couple times, and my favorite part of France is eating.
Oh yeah.
The food is just the food culture is just amazing to me.
Yeah, I cannot really say anything against that.
Yeah, it just is so important to.
Yes. It's so expensive too.
Yes, but
especially
it's
when
so
you go
good.
to other countries, like go to Germany or Spain, and you see the price difference. Like, wow, we're getting ripped off here.
You're paying for the service and the quality.
You're paying for the experience.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so let's talk about your time here. You're a graduate student, and so what are you working on?
Right now, I'm working on the CBD project, which is part of the big NFL study that's been happening in our faculty, in the KHS faculty for a while.
Okay, so you used an acronym, so maybe explain that.
Sure. CBD stands for cannabidiol. It's one of the substances present in the cannabis plant.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically the substance that is responsible for what we call a body high, like when you are like relaxed, when you are less nervous,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of growing like interest in this since it's becoming more and more decriminalized. Like there's less stigma attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like Canada has been legal, I think, since 2019, if I'm not mistaken. So like there's a lot of interest growing in like CBD research. And one of the like areas is neuroprotection and pain management. That's one of the biggest areas with CBD. And
So explain neuroprotection.
Sure. So first of all, I have to like, give a shout out to the Dr. Patrick Neary, who's the one like leading this project since its inception. And his work primarily was on concussion and like a concussion, especially in like football players when they have like a concussion normally is defined as a small movement or like small hit on the brain inside of the skull. So after that, like the brain path, the neuronal networks kind of altered when the concussion happens or any sort of a brain damage happens. And the growing research suggests that consumption of CBD might actually help with the regeneration of those neuronal pathways, or maybe actually prevent from the alteration of those neuronal networks. So that's what we call a neuroprotection, like some sort of a protection of the neuronal networks that's already been established in the brain. So if there is a concussion or a concussion-like event happens, the ramifications are less severe than expected. So that's the neuroprotection part. And the pain management part, it's because CBD normally interacts in the body on the CBD receptors, cannabis receptors. And the receptors are on immune cells and on other parts of the body, normally neuronal and immune cells. So when the consumption of CBD happens, the body can relieve some of the pain symptoms and some of the pain, we call it nociceptions, like pain sensory movement, sensations that happens. And so it can be it can be good for like managing of the pain if there's like a chronic pain happens. Especially people who suffer from neuronal disorders or like movement disorders. So what I'm doing at this moment, we are recruiting. We did actually yesterday. It was the last day of data collection phase. We finished the data collection. We were inviting football players from the Rams to come and be a part of our study. And our study basically is that they're over the course of 4 months. We gave them like powders of CBD to consume from 5 milligram per kilogram of body mass up until 30 milligram per kilogram of body mass. And every 2 weeks, we drew their blood to measure for biomarkers in their blood. We measured their cardiac activity, cardiac rhythm, the oxygenation of the blood. That part is physiological part. My part, I focus on the neurological part. Basically, I examine the plasticity, which is described as the capacity of the brain to change and alter its function based on internal or external stimuli. And one of the hypotheses is that CBD can alter this plasticity and actually improve it, like make the brain more responsive to events. So every 2 weeks when the football players came to the lab, we used a TMS machine, which is short for transcranial magnetic stimulation, in order to measure their voluntary response and see if they are more excited, more inhibited, like what is the ratio between the two. And right now we are in the data analysis to see what exactly are the results. Like, is it going up? Is it getting better? Is it getting worse? Is it getting no changes? And basically, that's like a little bit. I talked a little bit too much, or like that.
That's good.
That's a sum up of what we've been doing so far on the CBD project.
So is this going to be part of your thesis project?
Yes. This is actually the first phase.
Okay.
It's like a 3-phase study. This is the first phase. The next phase is going to be like a double-blind study. We don't know, like we're using a placebo as like a control, and neither us and the participants not know which is which.
Right.
And we just give them in an optimal dose, because now we did the dose escalation phase, so we know what, we're going to know what is the optimal dose of CBD consumption. After that, we are going to use that optimal dose and like pair it with a placebo and see if people can have a better reaction. But that part is going to happen during the football season.
Oh,
so
I see.
that's the tricky part, because we have to make sure that we are complying with the regulations of the Canada West League, because like CBD is okay, but like you have to make sure that there are no other substances that could be considered like performance enhancing. So that is the next phase that we're going to have to do. And the last phase is for the pain management phase, and that's like far ahead. So like we talk about when we reach it.
So will that form part of your project too?
Yes.
Okay. And who's your supervisor?
My supervisor is Dr. Cameron Mang from the Neurolab in our faculty. But the project is in collaboration with Dr. Patrick Neary.
Okay. And so how is Cam?
Oh, Cam is
Should we
fantastic.
say that? Can we?
Of course. Like, I have nothing but good things about Cam. Like, since I came
Me
here.
too.
Yeah, exactly. Since I came here, like he's been supportive. I've been trying like so hard to like make it more comfortable for me. And honestly, like I appreciate everything he's done. Like. I always tell him like everything good happened here, like it's because of you, because of your trust in me. Like he really has a trust in me. Like I really try my best to not let him down. Like to not like fail him when he asks me to do something, or like when I'm tasked with doing something.
Right.
But yeah, so far so good. Like we'll see. You have to bring Cam here and ask him the same question.
There you go. I will. So Skyla's probably wondering, because I suspect she's thinking about going to grad school at some point. Am I right about that, Skyla? See? So what is the typical day like for a graduate student? Like, I had my own experience of what that was like. I always tell students the best life is the life of a graduate student. But is that fair?
Yeah, it is actually a fair assumption. Because you're not as busy as you are in undergrad, like because you have some courses, but you can like pass the courses. Like here, like, that's the other thing I forgot to mention. You can pick and choose when to pass your courses here.
Okay.
We did not have that option in France. Like you're here, like first semester, you have these courses, get on with it.
Yeah.
Like there's no like, oh, I'll do it later, or like I pick it another semester.
Okay.
No, it's not like that over there. But here you have that luxury. So you can pick and choose which project you want, like which courses like you want to work on, like at the moment. And then, because normally when you're a grad student, you have a main project as your thesis.
Yeah.
So you can work on that more often. You can like focus on the courses more often. Like some people have another hobby. Like I have friends who like do paintings, like they compose symphonies, or like or like have a second job, like work in another like underrated thing, like have like a more real world experience.
Yeah.
So a typical day, at least from my experience in grad life, well, you have to be aware that like your thesis is your main goal. Like you cannot like brush that aside. Like you're here to do the thesis.
Yeah.
That's the main. The other things are side quests. So you have to come here, do a little bit, at least every day, do a little bit work on your thesis, like whether it's data collection, data analysis, like writing your thesis, reading the papers of people who've done the research a little bit, enhance your knowledge. After that, normally there's some sort of thing that happens around the faculty, either in the lab that you're working or other labs that like needs your attention. Somebody needs a hand with the project. Somebody wants to like have your opinion, or somebody like needs you to be a participant in their project. So that can happen occasionally. And I've seen, like me included, seen other people like take TA jobs, like teacher's assistant jobs. Like you have to like grade papers, take over some classes for some undergrad students, you know, like show them what it was like to do it at that level. Because when you're a grad student, you already passed those undergrad courses, so you know what it takes to actually achieve higher levels on that. So you can like give them some tips, like you give them some like suggestions, like, and yeah, that's basically it. And after, if you have like other side job or like side hustle, then you have to take care of that. Yeah, you have to take care of that part.
Like a Formula One watch party organizer.
Yeah, that can be one of it.
So how did you get interested in Formula One? Because you before we came on air, you were chatting with Matt Degenart.
Yeah.
And I was you were talking about stuff that involved Brazil and Mexico, and I thought, well, maybe they play soccer or something like that. But
well, yeah. I love football too. Like, yeah, we call it football. Like, you call it soccer here.
Yeah.
But like Formula One is another sport. I got into it because I have this friend back home. He's a really big fan of MotoGP, actually. Like, it's basically a championship for motorbikes.
Okay.
It's like the highest championship in motorbikes. And like, he's a like biker himself. Like, he's actually coming like to Canada next year to do like a cross country travel from like coast to coast on a bike here.
Okay.
So like he's a really like big huge fan. Like, he has posters of like riders on his bed. So like after a while we talked, and he said that he was like so passionate about MotoGP, and he got me into it. So I got into it a little bit. Like I love that one too. But then I realized, okay, I don't have my license to ride a bike. Like, I can ride a bicycle, sure, but like I cannot ride a motorcycle. But then I realized, okay, Formula One, like I've known it like before, I've known what it is, but I never like followed it closely. Yeah. Like when I was a kid, like Schumacher was like winning everything, like Ferrari were at the top. And then when I became a teenager, it was Red Bull, and like Red Bull had a Renault engine, and like Renault is a French car company, and like when they were winning, like in France, everybody were like so proud. Oh, like our engine is like winning everything. Like, we are at the top of the constructors. But like after a while, after I got into the MotoGP, I said, okay, you know what? Like I would like to get to know F1 a little bit better, to, you know, see what it's about. And at the time, like, it was right after 2016 season, and 2016 was like one of the biggest inter-team battles between like Hamilton and Rosberg in the Mercedes team. Okay. Because at the time, Mercedes was like the big team, like big constructor, and like nobody could come even close. So the challenge, the title fight, basically was between their drivers, and it becomes sort of like a toxic thing online, like people like taking sides and all that. So I said, okay, you know what, I'm just going to like pay more attention to it, see what's happened. Started watching the races like a little bit, watched the highlights at first, and then said, okay, you know what, this is actually not that bad. And then the pandemic hit, and I said, okay, you know what, at this point, like, I have so much free time, I don't know what to do. Let's just go back and rewatch some of the old races. So I did that, and after that, I said, okay, now I'm a fan. I'm going to like watch every race. I'm going to watch the qualifyings. I'm going to watch the free practice. But I remember after the pandemic, when Formula One came back, like I put like the practices at the back of the laptop, and like when I was working, and like when something happened, like take a look. Oh, okay, is this happening? Oh, is it cool? And then I became a fan. Like, I followed every race, I watched everything, and they came here, and I saw a flyer near the gym, and I said, oh, Formula One watch party.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like this Sunday for last year, it was because Formula One calendar, basically they go to every continent. Yeah. And the European races are really hard to see here because it's like 6 or 7 in the morning, so that's not really ideal for like. I wake up, of course, but like it's not really ideal to see it with other people because they want to use their weekends. But like I saw that one, the flyer was for the U.S. Grand Prix, which is happening in Austin. Okay. And it's like 1 hour ahead of us, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So it was perfect for a watch party here. So I went to that watch party, and I saw Matt, and I saw Arthur, and I saw Allison, and like a couple of other students. And they said, you know what, like this is a good crowd. Let's do it again. So the week after that was the Mexican GP. In Mexico City, so we watched that, and the week after that we did the Brazilian GP in Interlagos, so we watched that. So I said, oh, okay, that's fantastic. So we just like ran into each other in hallways and they
Oh,
talk
wow.
about Formula One and all that. So like I saw Matt before we went live because this past weekend was the US GP, but we didn't do it. So I was wondering like why we're not doing it? Like what happened? Like we were really good last year. So like he was busy for this for last weekend and this, and he's gonna be busy for this. But he said he might do it for Brazil, which is it's a
Okay.
fantastic race every time. Like every year, it's a fantastic race. So I'm really hoping we do that. Like if we can get like a 15 crowd, that would be 15 people crowd. That would be awesome.
Nice.
Like what? And he has the setup. Like he sets up these TVs with the onboards and like the live timings and like switches between the drivers' onboard cameras. So like it's
Oh,
a
really?
real setup. So like I really love those experiences. Like I was taking pictures from them, send it back home to my friends, and I said, "Oh, guys, you have a really great setup there. It's not a bar." I said, "No, it's not a bar. It's in a university, and like we're actually watching it like it's supposed to be watched."
There you go. All right. Well, I appreciate this time, but before we leave, what's been the best and worst part of coming to Regina?
Well, the worst part by far is being away from family and friends. That's for sure, and like the 8-hour difference.
Yeah.
That is because I've been away, but I've never been away this far. Like mostly when you go in Europe, like the most hour difference is like 1 hour, like you're a plane ride or like a train ride away from home.
Yeah.
But like here like it's been a challenge at first, but like I got used to it. Like I went back home in September for a few weeks too. That was nice. And the best part is like opening my eyes to what life is in this part of the world. Like I've lived in Vancouver for like 2 months, but that was like an internship.
Yeah.
Like it's already been paid and everything, so it wasn't really that big of a challenge. But like here now, I like properly living here, I have to like adapt to what is the culture here, what are the rules. And that opened my eye a lot. Like I feel like I was like in the box, like having like a small narrow point of view of life. But like now that I'm here, that I have seen like other people doing way different stuff. And on top of that, we are on Treaty 4 territory of the indigenous people, and like we've heard stories about like what's like for indigenous people, but like I've never knew anything about it like firsthand. But like I came here, I met actual indigenous people, like talked to them, like learn about the culture and everything. So that was really a nice experience to have. So yeah, those things are standouts for me, of course. In terms of academia, well, the thing is, like, CBD is still somewhat illegal in Europe, so there's not much research happening outside of, like, medical. So this is a big opportunity, like, to have actually CBD here, like, giving it to athletes and, like, work with it firsthand. Like, that was one of the reasons that I really was intrigued to come here, because it was, like, a new opportunity, a new area of research, to say the least.
Nice. So I have one last question. Are you going to get a motorcycle license while you're here?
My two of my friends actually have it, and they want to come here do that. I've been thinking about it. Like I have a bicycle now. Like I bike from home to university, and like there are some bike paths. There are some places that like they banked a little bit, or like they're narrow. Like they have like some corners. Like I try to like my best to like attack the apex like at the highest speed, or like some places it has elevations, it goes up, so I like go up and I just go down and try to control the bike. So I'm trying to, but I'm thinking about it. I don't know the rules here because I don't know if I have to like pass some sort of a test first or something.
It's become more complicated. So I'm a motorcycle rider. So is Matt, actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you knew that.
I did not know.
Yeah, so yeah, I've been riding for a long time, and I got my license a long time ago. When I got it, it wasn't very complicated. I just went and did a test. But now, my son just did it, and so you have to go to a school and learn to ride, and then you pass your exam, and then you have these stages of probation, effectively.
Oh, yeah.
So you're novice 1 and novice 2, and then finally you're a full. It takes about 3 years to get
3
there.
years?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. It's more
But,
than I was thinking.
Yeah, in total to get
Yeah.
your full license.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah,
it's
I would
nothing
actually
quite like
do that.
riding. It's I particularly like it in the late spring and the early fall when
Yeah.
it's not that hot out. But it's the best part about motorcycle riding is the sensory experience.
Yeah.
Because you're outside and
Yeah, you're not in a cockpit. You're like in a
yeah,
car.
you smell everything. You see the sky more than you do in a car, and yeah. So I highly recommend it.
Oh yeah,
actually.
I'll actually I actually have to look it up. I have to actually see what it's.
Yeah,
how can
good.
I get it? Actually, it's
Yeah.
just interesting.
Well, thanks very much for spending
you,
time
thank
with
you.
me.
Thank you very
It's,
much for inviting me. Thank
I've
you so
really
much.
enjoyed our conversation.
Yeah, same. Thank you.
And now I know a lot more about you. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
Anyway.
the pleasure's mine.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Well, that's it for us. Producer Skylar, do you want to say anything before we go? She's giving us a thumbs up. All right. Great. Well, we'll see you the next time.
Thank you very
Thanks
much,
again,
Dr.
Amir.
Thank you
Have
so
a great
much.
afternoon.
You too.